Hi, I'm Ashley Whittaker, and today we're going to talk to you about applying paper-backed fabric to your walls and why I love it so much.
This is amazing! This is so whimsical and colorful and perfect.
Isn't it fun? It's more fun than anything. That's what I love about it. It's not about being perfect, it's about being so fun.
Tell us a little bit about where we are.
So we're in Gulfstream, Florida, and we're in the house that I grew up in. And this was always considered our sort of back room. And it was just kind of the odds and ends of Mom's house, sort of leftovers from here and there. And one day I was down on spring vacation and I'd been in here for about 7 days spending the night, and I finally looked around and I said, we need to do something fun in this room. And that's how this whole idea came together.
And you have sort of breathed a fresh new life into it.
Exactly, and I think a lot of that is about the walls. When we decorate, we so often start with the walls. I think old school decorating, they said start with the rug, and now we start with the walls. So I really wanted something that was a statement on these walls. And what we did is we actually paper-backed fabric and pasted it to the walls in this room because it just gives it a more modern sensibility than the old upholstered walls that we used to see so much of in the 80s and 90s. It's a crisp, much more modern feeling. And the other thing that's nice is that the window shade can match exactly. So if I'd used a wallpaper in this room and then I wanted to use the fabric as a window shade, the dye lots would not have matched perfectly. So it's a way to have it all feel very harmonious and cohesive.
Talk to me about pricing, the big elephant in the room here. How does it compare to, say, wallpapering?
Well, wallpaper is, there's two different widths of wallpaper, but one is only 26 inches wide. So if that's 26 inches wide and fabric is 54 inches wide, you only have to buy half as much fabric yardage as you do wallpaper. At the end of the day, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's not some enormous investment. Sometimes you could find a really inexpensive fabric and it's less expensive than the wallpaper. So that's really how it works out. I'd say it's a little 6 of one, half dozen of the other, with maybe the fabric being ever so slightly more expensive.
How do you clean fabric on the wall? I'm sort of envisioning a vacuum cleaner going up and down.
You're not wrong about that. That would be the exact way that one would go about cleaning it. But what we do from the very beginning is we have the fabric treated with a stain treatment, and it repels water, it repels stains, it repels dirt. So for the most part, there's not really a problem with cleaning the walls. Maybe someone wants to vacuum it once a year if you're fanatical about it, but it's not something that we really worry too much about. So what I love about this headboard is I think it picks up on the three things that I find really important in decorating: white space, scale, and contrast. And in here you have this wonderful white space behind the green, which I think holds up nicely to the wall fabric. And you also have that geometric pattern, which is a really nice contrast to that as well. And then also the scale of this balances nicely against this. And so I think that's what makes these two things work. And you'll also notice that the greens aren't exactly the same.
Right.
So we're not about matching, we're about sometimes just finding something that works together, plays together nicely. That's how we describe it a lot. Plays together, and speaking of the floral pillowcases,
They're fabulous.
think they certainly don't match the walls exactly, but I think they have a lot of fun with each other.
Well, they're having a conversation,
they're having
right?
a conversation.
A fun conversation. And then the white, does that allow the rest of the room to breathe and really lets the wall be the star?
You're exactly right. Lets the wall be the star, and sometimes you just need that white moment to sort of let the eye rest. As you can see, there's a lot of patterns going on in this room. So for me, I felt like it was important just to see these beautiful white sheets. These are actually Schumacher. I love another geometric pattern in this room, and I think it all balances so well with this more sort of floral and leafy pattern going on the walls.
There is basically not 1 inch that's not covered in this fabric.
That's very true.
Including the bookcase.
Well, one thing that's very quirky, I know I keep saying that, but quirky about this room is that you have the bookcase, and then you have the door to the bathroom, and then you have this little sink area. So I wanted these all to kind of flow together and not be interrupted. Just by painting the backs of this, I don't think it would have felt as interesting. So I wanted to paperback this and wallpaper this exactly as I did in the little sink area and treat it in the same way. And I just think it looks super charming with books and objects, and just another way to play with this wonderful fabric.
So you've left nothing undone in this room. It is all perfect, including the fabric covered outlets.
Yes, it's very important. Our wallpaper hangers, it drives them crazy, but covering that, I think, makes all the difference and just really feels finished, and the light switches just disappear almost. So in this bathroom, we took a regular wallpaper and we had a matte vinyl treatment applied to it, which makes it completely waterproof. So it's wonderful to do in a kid's bathroom, really any bathroom. Sometimes we'll do it in a playroom or something where there's tons of high traffic area, and you just really want the wallpaper to stand up to kids and all sorts of things that can happen.
I just feel like I'm inside but also outside with this massive window. Did you intentionally bring the outdoors inside?
I really did. You know, I always say that in decorating that, oh, I want to connect the indoors to the outside. I'm always thinking about what we're looking at, and I think this is like an extreme example of that. We have a row of sea grape hedge that's right outside, and then we have the sea grape wall fabric. So I think I was sort of playing with that really to an extreme on this particular project.
No, it's like a verdant oasis.
Exactly, exactly. And I love waking up to this and just looking at all that beautiful greenery and the palm trees, and so Florida.
So as this is your childhood home, did your wonderful mother, Barbara, have a say in how this room is being decorated?
She really didn't. I told her we were working on a little project in this back room. She keeps asking, what's going on? What's going on? I said, don't worry, it's all under control. Don't worry about a thing.
She wants updates.
She wants updates. I've sent her some snippet pictures, but I think she's gonna be really excited when she comes home. It'll be this is a major transformation, and I think she's gonna have a lot of fun with it. The world is your oyster when you are talking about fabric and putting it on walls. There's so many wallpapers out there nowadays, but if you think about that relative to the number of beautiful, incredible fabrics that we'd be able to paperback and use for walls. So it's a really fun way to do something very unique that certainly nobody else would have, and it creates just something so much fun and just elevates it a little bit from a wallpaper, I think. It's a little retro and a little modern and a lot of color and really just a lot of fun. I think everyone who stays back here is going to have a really good time. Thanks for coming by, Schumacher. I hope you enjoyed seeing our newly refreshed guest room.